We're not calling Missouri yet because it's too close, but there's no question that you did well. You're starting to talk about unifying the party, and I want to go through that with you. But the first question on that level is, what do you say to Ted Cruz this morning? If your goal is to unify the party, that means he has to get out. What do you think you could say to Ted Cruz to make him go along with your plan?
Well, I don't think he has to get out. I think he has to stay in, and I think he has to run, and John has to run, and, you know, we'll see what happens. I think I have a good chance of getting there before the convention. You know, with what we won yesterday, if you look at it, that was just about as good as if I won Ohio, and I did well in Ohio, but I was running against a popular governor, and it's not easy because they have the machine working. But and I didn't have time. I ran out of a little time. I think if I had a day or two more, it would have been perhaps a little bit different. But you know, I congratulate John on that. I think he deserved it. And frankly, to be honest with you, I think we're doing very well. You know, with the bonuses that you get, and with Illinois being a tremendous win, that was a very, very big win. That was far greater than we even thought. We get a lot of different bonuses, which I didn't even know about. And I think that it was just about the equivalent as if I had a normal set of victories plus Ohio. It was pretty much, we got about the number of delegates that we would have gotten the other way.
So the delegate count is going the right way for you. Obviously, it's a race to see if you can get to 1, 2, 3, 7, and then if you can survive the convention. Those are ifs now. One of the things that we can talk about with more certainty is how you get from here to there. You talked about being a unifier. Does that mean you're considering changing the divisive rhetoric, toning down some of the hostility that you bring to crowds in the interest of unifying your party?
Well, you know, the crowds that we have, Chris, have been very, very, my audiences and crowds have been fantastic, but we have agitators come into some of the rooms. I mean, I've had, even over the last few days, I've had fantastic numbers, 15,000, 20,000 people, where there's been nobody that even stood up. But sometimes we'll have somebody stand up and start screaming, and then the press picks it up like it's a big deal. But, you know, to be honest with you, we have had tremendous harmony, and there's love in those rooms. These are not even rooms, they're stadiums. We have 15,000, 20,000 people. You see it yourself on a regular basis. And I think really the biggest story from the standpoint of politics, maybe in the world today, is how many people are coming into the Republican fold, meaning voting in the primaries, because it's up 100%, it's up 70% in some states. I mean, we have lines that go for blocks long when they used to have two people standing in a room. And it's actually the biggest story worldwide in politics, what's happening. And, you know, I would tell you that those people are there for me. They're not there for other people.
There's no question that people are watching. There's no question that there's a lot of energy, certainly on the GOP side when we see the voting. But there is pushback, not only in your own party, but there is an idea that your divisiveness, what you're bringing out in terms of the anger of the country, is also motivating the base on Clinton's side. She spoke to it last night, and I want to get your reaction to what she said. Here's Hillary Clinton, and we can both safely say she's talking about you.
Our commander-in-chief has to be able to defend our country, not embarrass it. Engage our allies, not alienate them. Defeat our adversaries, not embolden them. When we hear a candidate for president call for rounding up 12 million immigrants, banning all Muslims from entering the United States, when he embraces torture, that doesn't make him strong, it makes him wrong.
Your response?
Well, I think she's an embarrassment to our country. She's under federal investigation. She doesn't have the strength or the stamina to be president, frankly, as far as I'm concerned. She doesn't have strength. She doesn't have the stamina. I think she would, she talks about defeat our enemies. Well, where has she been for the last year? We can't even beat ISIS. She's not defeating our enemies. She wouldn't know how to defeat the enemies. It's ridiculous. So I think she's an embarrassment, and we'll see what happens. Look, I mean, I'm going to run a race. I'm sure it'll be tough, and she's going to run a race, and she'll be tough. But I will tell you, I think in the end, all of these people that are coming out to vote, they're tired of a country that can't even beat, we can't beat ISIS. We can't beat anybody on trade. She talks about beating adversaries. That's, to me, the worst of her statements is that we when you're talking about adversaries, because we are losing to every single group of people within countries that we're opposed. Look at trade. Look what China is doing to us. Look what Japan is doing to us. Look what everybody is doing to us. Look at the war. Look at what ISIS is doing to us. Look at what everybody else is doing to us. They laugh at us. They take our equipment. They take our military stuff. And what do they do with it? They turn it and they aim it at us because we don't know what we're doing. So certainly I will be the one that does defeat the adversary. She can't. She doesn't know how to.
The attacks on her, we get it, that those are going to be coming. That's part of the game, no question about it. But we all know the problems. It becomes, what are the solutions? You hear from people in your own party and across lines that they have concerns about what you say and what it brings out in American people. Do you have concerns about whether or not what got you to where you are can take you all the way? Are you considering changing any of the divisiveness that comes out of you?
Well, I think as we go down the line, I think things will happen and there will be a healing process. But this has been a very rough one. You know that. We started off with 17 people. We're down now to 3 because Marco got out last night, and we're down to 3. But this has been a nasty one, and that's why I guess your ratings are higher than they've ever been. You and everybody else that puts these things on and talks to Donald Trump and maybe some others, but I don't think some others, to be honest. If you look at the Democratic debates, their ratings are not good. They're way, way down. You look at the Republican debates, they're through the roof. I wonder why.
Well, there's a lot of interest in the race. There's no question about that. There's no question that people's numbers
well, there's a lot of interest in the race from the Republican side. There's not that much interest from the Democrat side. Take a look at your ratings on the Democratic debates. They're not very good.
Look, the ratings have been higher than they usually are. I'm not here to defend the Democratic side. I mean, I've done the town halls for the Democrats. They both did very well. The ratings are up. There's no question. People care. I think that maybe the better point to make about this is why they care. Do you really think that it's okay if the reason people are pumped up and they want to know is because they're so angry? And that in stoking that anger, do you think you're setting yourself up, even if you become president, to inherit such a hostility, such an environment where everybody's against one another in the country, that it's almost impossible to move forward? Are you worried about that?
Well, I'm not worried because, you know what, the people are angry, but the anger, they're not angry people by nature. And, you know, they're just not angry people. But they're angry at the gross incompetence. They're angry at the Iran deal. They're angry at trade deals. They're angry at the fact that ISIS is pushing us around. We can't do anything. We don't know what we're doing. They're angry at just about everything that's taking place. They're angry at the fact that our country doesn't win anymore. We don't win anymore, Chris. We don't win anymore. When was the last time our country had a victory at anything? We lose on trade. We lose in war. We lose with we lose with Obamacare, where the premiums are going up 45 and 55%, and you don't even get coverage. We don't win anymore.
Well, we win every time we come together, right? That's what America's history shows us. So now you're heading into a convention. If you get to 1, 2, 3, 7, or if you don't, and you're close, you're going to be going to a convention. What is your plan to bring people together there and get many, as you know, who don't want you to get this nomination to change their minds?
Because I think there's a natural healing process. Once the battle is over, once the war is over, I think there really is a natural healing process. And I've gotten along with people all my life. This is actually a little bit unusual. I've gotten along very well with people, and I think it'll happen again. And I believe it will. Now, if it doesn't, it doesn't. I'll go along the same path, which has obviously been an effective path. I think we'll win before getting to the convention, but I can tell you, if we didn't, and if we're 20 votes short, or if we're 100 short, and we're at 1,100 and somebody else is at 500 or 400, because we're way ahead of everybody, I don't think you can say that we don't get it automatically. I think you'd have riots. You know, I'm representing a tremendous, many millions of people. In many cases, first-time voters. These are people that haven't voted because they never believed in the system. They didn't like candidates, et cetera, that are 40 and 50 and 60 years old. And they've never voted before. Many of those people, many Democrats, many independents coming in. That's what the big story is, really, Chris. I mean, the really big story is how many people are voting in these primaries. The numbers are astronomical. Now, if you disenfranchise those people and you say, well, I'm sorry, but you're 100 votes short, even though the next one is 500 votes short, I think you would have problems like you've never seen before.
Well,
I think bad things would happen. I really do. I believe that. I wouldn't lead it, but I think bad things would happen.
I know that you want to avoid this situation, and I know that you've said many times now that you would back the Republican nominee no matter what happens. But, you know, if what you're saying about these people is true, and they're looking to you to do what you said you're going to do, if you don't get the nomination, do you feel that it is incumbent upon you to run anyway on your own ticket?
I don't even think about it right now. I mean, right now I'm leading by a lot. Last night I had 5 wins, including the islands, as you know.
Right.
I had 5 wins, and, you know, I don't know if other than, well, I guess Hillary had 4 or 5 wins last night, but it's got to be some kind of a record. That's a lot of wins, but we had an amazing night last night, and we picked up a lot of delegates.
No question about it. Your lead got very big. A lot of people are now searching the math to see how even Ted Cruz finds a path to 1237. There's no question that the outcome last night.
He can't find a path, Chris. He cannot find a path.
Well, mathematically, he could
find a path. There's no way he gets
He could, but it does not look as good as it does for you.
If he wins New York, and if he wins places that he has no chance of winning. But, I mean, he's not going to win New York. He's not going to win New Jersey. He's not going to win a lot of states that he's up against. Look, he was supposed to win the southern states. He was supposed to win Alabama. And he was supposed to win all of those states that I won.
Right.
And he lost them in a landslide. He was supposed to win South Carolina. He was supposed to win New Hampshire. And he did.
There's no question that the evangelicals haven't come through to him the way he suggested. We'll see what the rest of the map shows. Let me ask you something. Marco Rubio's out. You were uncharacteristically gracious about him last night, given the history that you two have had recently. Would you consider him for a VP? People are saying inside the party that would go a long way towards healing a lot of concerns.
Well, I just think it's too early to think about it, Chris. I don't like to think about it. I like to get the deal closed.
But is he in consideration?
Well, I like him. I've always liked him. Then he got nasty 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I got nastier than he did, I guess, and that's why.
Well, then you can't be too upset at him. If you got nastier
person.
than he did, you can't be too upset at him. And you did say it's time for healing. So I'm just wondering, is he in consideration?
Well, I think he's a fine person, and you know, I'm looking at lots of people, but I'm not thinking about it yet. It's too early. I want to close the deal. You know, I'm a closer. I get things closed, and I want to close the deal first, I think, Chris, before I start. I'll have this conversation at some point, but it's too early.
All right, so talk about closing things. You have a vacancy on the Supreme Court. The Constitution says the president's supposed to pick a nominee. He says he's going to do that today. Now it's for the Senate to do its job. You say, no, don't do it. Wait for the next election. Why? You say that Washington's broken. They don't do their job enough. They all play games. This is one of those games if they don't hold hearings. Why continue the problem?
Because I think the next president should make the pick, and I think they shouldn't go forward, and I believe I'm, and pretty much in line with what the Republicans are saying. I think that the next president should make the pick. We don't have a very long distance to wait. Certainly they could wait it out very easily, but I think the next president should make the pick. I would be not in favor of going forward.
No matter what? What if he picks your sister?
Then I would say the same thing. The next president,
you would say no hearing if he picked your sister?
My sister's very happy where she is, I will tell you. She's doing a great job. She's considered a brilliant person, and she is.
All right, so let's, we know you have a lot to do this morning. Let's end on this note that you began it on, though, as a unifier. You said there's going to be a time for healing. You are the person that many point to as why there'll be a need for healing. So what do you say to those who say Donald Trump is a divider? He's stoked people's anger. It's working for him, but it will not get him to the presidency. You won't get there by just being negative. What do you say?
I am a unifier. I think President Obama is a divider, and I think he's proven that, and I would have thought that he would have been a unifier, but he's been a great divider. We have to win. And as we win, people will forget and they will feel better. And that's the way life is. And it's always been that way for a million years. It's always been, that's the way it is. I mean, we have to win. We have to put it away. And after it's put away, I think a lot of feelings will be soothed and we'll win. I mean, I intend to win. I hope I win. If I do, we're going to make America great again. I mean, my message is very simple. We are going to make America great again. And if I don't make it, then I will go off into the wild blue yonder, and I will enjoy the rest of my life, and it'll be a lot easier. But I think my kind of ability will be able to bring people together, but most importantly, it will make our country great again, Chris.
Mr. Trump, congratulations on last night. Thank you for being on New Day, as always.
Thank you very much.
All right. Now, let's take a quick break. You just got to hear from Donald Trump. He's talking about unifying his party. He's talking about